So if you guys decided to head on out, next up would be the bell tower. You could
There's people
explore.
in there?
I mean, you could see, but there doesn't seem to be a door on the outside of the bell tower. If you want to try and see
So it
if there's a way in, you can investigate.
sure. I
Zombie
also
stuck in my head.
I want to know if it looks like it might be automated.
The door. Oh, the bell.
No,
It.
like the bell itself.
Okay.
Like when it rings and shit. If it's on an automated schedule because there is a time mechanism in it.
Yeah.
So I am curious.
Okay. If you want to roll and see,
Cool.
I'd say either investigation or like a knowledge intelligence check.
I'll do investigation.
Okay.
I can
All right.
vibe with investigation.
All right.
Uh 17?
Okay. You can kind of tell by the build of it, like you've kind of seen things like this before, and you're able to hazard a solid guess that this is probably, whether it is through mechanics or through magical means, probably automated.
Yeah.
Automated either with like sensors or a schedule, something. Um, it seems to be automated.
Or just a really fancy alarm clock.
Yeah, basically.
Could just be that, just timer. It's literally a clock. It might not run the way that we normally see clocks run, but it does run like a clock.
Yes, exactly.
Sweet.
But we can still see if there's a door. I think it'd be cool. I know Cora wouldn't be mad about seeing the internal workings.
Okay. All right. So roll investigation to see if there is a way in. If
I want to see if there's a door.
and
Show
Ivor,
me a door. No,
Ivor wanted to
Same
do
thing.
something?
no.
No, I think she's mostly just gonna be listening
Okay.
for anything, just trying to stay alert. Because
Okay.
her biggest thing is I don't want anyone fucking sneaking up on me.
Fair.
Man.
But when you are as you're leaving, like everyone gave a very warm goodbye. Everyone gave like a very amicable, like you got the very stereotypical, all right, come back now, you hear, like this very warm, like you would be welcome.
God.
Yeah, this very warm, like parting, and
Just cementing the fact that I am gay.
yeah. So you hear laugh. When you first saw and like heard Beckett, her voice was kind, but it was a little cold. Like everything about her, just like the gold in her aesthetic is kind of her personality. It's pretty and it's a warm color, but it feels metallic and a little cold. But you notice that as soon as like you guys left, and Beckett was like alone with like the Dwyers and her wife, you heard more of a warmth come into her voice, and it seemed like a little less performative and a little bit more jovial.
No, there's not fucking strangers in her space.
Right, exactly.
She's a person again.
Yeah.
She's not this enigma. She's a person that they've spent fucking 75 or less years with.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I
So,
totally get it.
so she seems more comfortable.
that would,
Yeah.
that'd
But
be a 17 for that investigation, by the way.
all right, what'd you get, Magna?
Don't even.
Doesn't matter.
I didn't fucking see it.
Negligible.
No, brain smooth again.
Okay.
Brain went smooth again. He lost those like 10 wrinkles that he had
Yeah,
at this
those
point.
four to 12 maybe, somewhere in between there, I guess.
Because he counted up to 9 at one point. So
Yeah, and then they all went away.
he lost all of them.
And then the
Smooth
gay
brain
kicked in
again.
and he can't do math anymore.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Are you a musician? No, but I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like everything you said.
Thank you.
When you all leave, you do realize that Richard is no longer there. He got bored and fucked off. So you are all now
Fair.
looking at Cora is looking at the clock tower. And it doesn't seem like there's any entrance in, but you can tell that it looks like the bell tower is somehow connected to both the guard HQ and the big town hall looking thing. So it doesn't look like there's a way to get into the clock tower from the outside, but the building is connected to the guard HQ and town hall. So they're possibly...
Considering that the bell is kind of the warning of like, hey, you might die, go inside, makes sense that the entrance isn't easily immediately accessible from the road.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So that is what you've seen with the clock tower. So if you decided to go in, you'd probably have to go investigate either Yeah. The next building, the last two buildings that you haven't been in are town hall, unless you include the bell tower. But without including the bell tower, the other buildings that you have not been in are town hall and the bakery. Those are the two places you have not been. You are right next to town hall, and the bakery is much closer to the inn.
Do we want to risk running into our friend?
I will say, I feel like if she's not back in the tavern, she's probably back at the town hall, and I don't really want to mess with her right now.
Yeah, I was just gonna hop in and be like, she's probably come back.
Either that or she went to her home, unless her home is in town hall. We don't know.
Yeah.
We could always walk in, kind of like peek our heads in and do that, but like I don't want a chance to interact with her and then have you guys shake hands.
I mean, also considering the fact that it seems like we should expect to be here for eternity. I think we have some time to investigate the town hall.
That's true.
Yeah.
Also, just a quick question. What time of day is it currently? Because we did walk around and talk to people for a decent amount of time.
A while,
Probably late afternoon now.
Okay.
So you still have time.
How close to sunset are we talking?
It doesn't look like you need to rush. If nothing else, the bell hasn't gone off, and people seem to still be kind of out and about.
Okay.
And also, regardless of if we're going to have the thing of the bell going off, we are right by the inn.
Yeah.
So it's not that much of a stress. We don't have to go across town, and we're not on like the trail in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might just be easy to go to the bakery and then kind of retreat back to the inn because we know that Meredith won't be there.
Okay. Yeah. So y'all want to head to Amir's bakery?
Bakery.
All right.
Great.
I saw the chat saying they were missing that they missed Amir, so we're gonna head back.
Well, here we go.
So you all make your way back across town. You wrap around the fountain. In town, you see like a handful of people kind of just walking. You see kind of where Richard's fucked off to. It's kind of outside. It's like by the front door of the inn, and he's standing next to a significantly taller, just as pale, long dark hair, very gorgeous makeup, like very very on point goth aesthetic. And they seem to be standing and talking in a way that would like imply like the kind of hushed whispers that they might be sharing, but like you can't quite tell if they're like together or not.
It's more intimate than what we expected from Richard.
Yes. Yes. And you also see like, you know,
I had chicken. Sorry. Excited. I don't know. I'm sorry.
You see the kids kind of running around. Still, Dalavash at this point has now sat down on a bench and is watching them play. And you can hear the older girl kind of yelling, just kind of like causing a ruckus. And she does indeed sound
being chaotic.
Yes. And she does indeed sound a lot like earlier when Dalavash said you sound too much like your father. You see where that's coming from after hearing Walter talk and now hearing this girl talk. They sound like two peas in a pod. The little boy who was being kind of dragged around that looks a lot like Beckett is like he's smiling, but he's not like talking. He's like seeming to have a good time. He's laughing and smiling and running around, but he's not as like chatty as the girl is. So you see people walking around, running around. You see people waving to each other. You guys get to the inn, not the inn, walk past the inn and get to the bakery.
Actually, as we're walking past the inn, could I look in the window really quick to see if Meredith is in there at all?
I'm just gonna say she's not.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say she's not. I'll give you that one. She's not.
Sweet.
Plot twist,
Awesome.
she's in the bakery. We tried to avoid her so much. She's in the bakery.
She followed us.
She's been waiting for you.
No.
She's gonna shake her goddamn hand if it kills her.
God.
I'll buy some gloves.
Everyone.
Not today.
Thespis just buys you all some gloves, and say, no one. It just is like, no one.
Not today.
Yes, not today.
No way.
So, you go up to the bakery and see along the rims of the wood of the door frame, it seems like someone kind of just like idly took like a carving knife and started making these really beautiful like floral designs. You can see there's some like crystals like hanging above the door. You can like see these beautiful pastel curtains with like lace wraps inside, and like you can just, the second that you open the door, the smell of fresh baked goods and incense both hit your nose, and it's not too much. It's almost like walking into a hug. And you walk in and you see Amir, and he's behind a counter. He's like kneading some dough. He has those sleeves that you saw earlier rolled up, and you see what looks to be a bite scar on his arm, very similar to what Walter had on his shoulder. But it's like right on his...
Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
that bitch went after his face and he shielded it.
Yeah.
With his arm.
Yeah.
It was fucking died.
Yeah. And he's just kneading some dough. He's got, the very stereotypical, like, little flower on his face. And he's got, like, his hair pulled back and a ribbon. And he's just, like, he looks up to you all and he's like, oh, hello, welcome back. Oh, I didn't expect you all to come back so fast. Here, give me just one moment. And he kind of scoops up the ball of dough and drops it in a bowl and then covers it with like, a towel.
Let that bitch rise.
Yeah. And he covers it with a towel and kind of like moves it out of the way and gets another towel and like kind of starts wiping his hands. He's like, oh, can I get you all anything? Or did you just come to say hello? I don't mind either way.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, sweet boy.
And Amir's just, hi. Hello.
What are you
Hi
doing?
again.
Oh, I'm making bread. And I distract myself with baking, and I like to bake for people. I am actually hoping to make this into some enchanted healing bread. Ideally, one slice should be able to heal you up pretty well after a scuffle. But we'll see. I haven't quite been able to master this recipe, but I am going to get it eventually.
So, just a thought.
No doubt about that.
How do you have... How do you find the balance between both your jobs? I don't normally hear anything about, like, physicians also moonlighting as, bakers.
Well, granted, thankfully, I'm not the kind of person who needs a lot of sleep. You go so long not really getting much sleep, your body kind of gets used to just not sleeping much. But I kind of just, I have learned that running this bakery is good for my mental health. It brings me a lot of joy to bake for people and to share my love for everyone via food. I feel like that is one of the best love languages, is it not? But my physician work is mostly, I can't not. I have the power to heal, and there are people who need it, so it would be foolish for me not to. If nothing else, it goes against my creed. And he kind of gestures to like this little crystal around his neck, and on the top part, like on the metal cuff of the crystal that keeps it on its chain, you see the little symbol of Palor, the god of mercy and healing and harvest.
I love Paylor. Paylor's one of my favorite gods.
I got a tattoo of him on my ankle. So yeah, and he kind of gestures to the Paylor symbol on his crystal, and Chelsea dies right now.
It's more seawater.
It's fuck.
It's the seawater. She doesn't stop
In
drowning.
character.
It's okay.
It's called method acting. She's actually drowning right now.
Don't make her laugh.
All right. After Chelsea stops dying, this is going to be the last.
Sorry,
Oh no.
I inhaled some of my food and it hit the back of my throat really hard.
Oh no.
I'm so sorry.
Oh
It's okay.
no.
Well, I just wanted to let the chat know that we're going to wrap up after this stop. Because it is getting 1:45. So.
It's getting late for you guys, yeah.
Yeah. So, Amir kind of just... It would be a bit, well, I feel like it would be a waste of my abilities if I didn't offer to be town physician. And I figured that it takes more from me to not than it does to just do it. And I do have help. I have very wonderful help. My wife helps me with everything. She especially helps with the on-the-field stuff because she fights far better than I can. I took the more pacifistic clerical route. She definitely took the paladin's oath. So she is a very skilled fighter. But without that help, I don't know where I would be, to be completely honest.
Well, that's good. It's nice to have somebody to spend such quality time with.
It's nice. I may be saddened at the thought that, well, if we did die, if that is in fact what happened, well, you know, if that is indeed what happened and we are all dead right now, if nothing else, at least she and I are together. But I would much rather her not be. I mean, I really guess I don't mind so much if I am, but, you know, she deserves a life outside of this. I think most everyone here does. And so just do what I can. And you'd see that the moment that he kind of starts talking about, like, his wife and friends, like, not being okay, like, you see him just start, like, messing with his hands, and, like, he got, like, more pulled into himself, physically, like, kind of kept his arms tense to his chest.
As soon as Chorus sees that, just, what else were you working on besides the enchanted bread?
Oh, well, besides, and he just immediately takes the bait. He is on to another topic. Just,
He's like, I want out.
Yeah, no more.
Get me out.
No feelings, because he can't cast calm emotions on himself. So, besides the enchanted bread, I was thinking of making some. I have a partial for sweets, so I was thinking of possibly making some brownies or some cakes that I could infuse calm emotions into. So, like, you eat it and then you calm down and you feel nice. I was thinking of kind of putting something like that together. But other than that, I also have some. Sorry, did Chelsea freeze for anyone else?
Yeah.
Okay, that was a face.
It sure was.
My God.
It was a very cartoony face.
It was shock. It was very shock.
I got a screen cap. It's okay.
Hey, at least I'm not getting dragged anymore.
Hey!
Hey! I'm so excited.
But
Yeah, but this is something I can't affect or change. This is just
Yeah,
happening.
me neither.
I'm
It's called
not gonna
it's called my personality. I can't handle that.
So, besides Amir making healing bread and basically edibles, Amir then trails
Sweet.
It's 100% edibles. They pointed out in the chat already.
on. Oh, they
They
did?
pointed
Yeah.
that shit out in the chat immediately.
Oh,
Nice.
Yes. No, it is canon. Amir does make edibles, except it's with magic and not weed.
Okay, fair enough.
So I'm thinking of putting that together. I know that the god is needing some more specialized healing items for poisons and things like that. So I am going to try and work on those. And I don't need to worry about my delivery to the inn until the morning, but I might get a head start on that for the things I need to send. And you can see him, like, giving himself tasks in his head and like just giving himself more to do after. Like
work through the sadness.
Yes.
Work through the sadness.
Yes. It's gonna work.
Don't feel sad when you can. It's the conversation of you told millennials and Gen Z that we had to sit in our house for quarantine with our feelings. Every millennial was like, no thanks, I'm gonna learn to make bread.
I'm gonna make bread. I was just gonna say that. Like, to make bread.
That's what Amir's been doing. He's just been making bread.
For like 75 fucking years. Just dealing with his emotions. Just making fucking bread.
Amir is that person of, I will take all of my emotions and I will push them down here. And then one day, maybe I'll die. Well, I'm not quite sure if I have already, but if I haven't, I inevitably will. So I'll just take it when it comes. With a smile on his face. That's Amir.
Wow, I love it.
That's the vibe I've gotten so far. So apt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Amir kind of like was obviously like kind of started jotting stuff down. Is would you all like to take anything with you? I have some more of those berry tarts. I have a few different flavors. I may have some tea that I put the kettle on before I came out here. So if anyone would like anything, I could get you all some more tea. I think we still have a little time before you all need to head back. But of course, I'm not going to keep you if you would like to leave. Just know that and he literally, like, he says, my home, and he gestures to the doorway, which would be. Like,
no, my headphones died. No.
It's like.
Headphones.
No. Oh no. Oh no, her headphones. There we go.
Fuck.
Oh.
Nope.
Oh.
I think we lost Chelsea. Hold on a second.
Really? You're gonna do this now? Come on.
Oh. Hold on.
This one.
Because like we can hear you.
Wait, no, not that one.
Hello.
No, hold on.
Hello.
Hello.
This one.
Hello.
No.
Hello.
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 Anyway. But anyway.
If you want the company, we'd be glad to stay. I would at least. I can't speak for these two.
Would you all like to stay? I can make us some tea. We can get some more. I would be more than happy to give you some more food if you'd like. I have some things coming out of the oven. If so. And he kind of like steps back and gestures for you all to walk down this hallway that leads, like, you can see portraits on the walls. You can see more like in the different doorways. You see like little crystals, little like sigils, kind of hanging about. And do you all go further into Amir's abode, or does anyone decide to not?
Magna's gonna turn to Ivor and just kind of hushed voices, not to be too loud or anything. Just, would you like to sit down?
No. I'm okay. Just tired. I'm okay.
Okay. Just making sure.
So, to those who go further back into Amir's abode, you see in the back room, kind of just behind, you can assume like further in the storage for the bakery and the kitchen and all that, you see it kind of goes down a little bit, as if it was like kind of half a basement. So you're figuring like you're kind of like half underground, half not right now. And you see like plush couches, and you see like so many books, and you see both a small wall scroll of sorts for Paylor, but also a small wall scroll of sorts for Bahamut, and they're both hanging next to each other.
Interesting. Okay.
And there is a candle lit underneath like on this altar, there's like a candle lit for the Bahamut, and there is another candle and also an incense stick lit in between them. So it's kind of like this is an altar. There's various little crystals and other sort of like a religious accoutrement on the table for these two deities. The smell of the incense is very clean. It's like almost like a citrusy sort of like fresh, paired with the smell of the breads and like the fruity pastries from it smells very spiced and inviting and very delicious, honestly. You see there's blankets and pillows out on the couches. It's like it seems like they are constantly ready for someone to come like crash out on their couch. Yeah,
Sweet.
They are constantly ready for someone to come crash out. They are constantly ready for like someone to need like a little bit of comforting. Just general, like it's always open. And then you see like again you see portraits and paintings, and you see some like finger paintings and some things that look like children may have drawn it that are hung up, and like it seems to be like letters and like it's like all these little things that may have been given as gifts have all just been splattered on the walls. Like they have all been framed and hung up.
So proud of the relationships they have.
Yes. Yes.
If you're, I keep interrupting.
No, you're good. You're good. No, you're good.
Okay. Just, I do have a kind of question for you, if you don't mind.
Oh, of course. Well, what is it?
I know with the line of work that you do, not the bakery, but the clerical work that you do, you have a connection to the gods, gods that you worship and that you work with. Do you still feel that connection here?
Well, it's...
If you don't want to answer, you don't have to. I understand it's a very prying question.
No, well, I value honesty, and I value being upfront. Yes, but it's different. It doesn't feel as easy to connect. I can if I try, and I'm not as powerful as I used to be. There are certain spells that I can still do to full power, but not a lot. Before I came here, I really don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but
It's okay.
I traveled a lot. I did a lot of work. I got into a lot of fights. I used to fight a lot, and protect people, and that's kind of what I did. But since I came here, I'm not the best at fighting hand to hand, or even with weaponry. I have my staff, but I'm not that good at it. That's what my sister would have been great at. But since I got here, I'm not as powerful as I used to be. And I'm not the only one who's kind of a little disconnected from their gods.
I didn't mean to pry. I just was curious.
I'm an open book.
And for future reference, talking about the life you had before here isn't bragging. I'd like to get to know you and what you were doing prior. If we're going to play a game of bragging, I suppose, I can share a little about myself.
Of course.
My father is the king of my country.
Oh.
So
Sounds exhausting.
I understand the feeling of bragging a little. But please, I'd love to know more about yourself. Don't ever feel like you're bragging.
And you see his face goes a little red again. He's like, oh, I appreciate that. I do. It does mean a lot. Here, would anyone like some tea? Or some more tarts? I have plenty of... I think I had some blackberry tarts come out of the oven not too long ago. If anyone would like any.
Magna's ears kind of prick a little bit at
like,
the word blackberries.
Oh.
He's like, hello.
And Amir just gives this wide grin. He's like, oh, I'll go get some tarts and some tea. Please make yourselves at home. If you want to get at any of the pillows or the blankets, they are there for use. So please do not hesitate. I can always fold them back up later. I'll be right back. And he kind of like goes off into the kitchen area to gather some tea and some baked goods.
Yeah.
You are all left.
Amir.
you are all left in Amir's abode. You can see that both Amir and Birin live there, but Birin doesn't seem to be in right now. So you all can either sit and just wait. You could kind of look around, see what you see, see if you could like look further into what you may be hearing or smelling or whatever.
Cora's going to sit.
Perception check.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna make a what?
I can make a perception check.
Perception. All right, yeah, perception, insight, investigation, whatever you guys want to do.
My insight is better, but I don't know exactly what I'd be looking into.
Insight would basically just be if you wanted to like see if Amir's legit or not. Like that would basically be that.
I'm pretty sure.
Or of its own act.
I'm pretty sure. Is it possible I could roll both?
You know what?
You can say no. You
yeah,
can say no.
Yeah,
Okay.
choose one.
All right, I'll do insight. Why not?
Okay.
17 plus 5. Can't do math.
Enough.
High.
Yeah.
High number.
17 plus 5. That's enough.
I did good except for that 111.
Yeah, you did great. So you kind of looking into like
make your brain smooth.
Amir, like is this dude legit? This dude is like really nice, and like
Seems like he's hiding something because he's so nice.
But you can tell, you recognize that level of I must be sweet for everyone around me. I must be composed for everyone around me. I must be in control for everyone around me. And you feel that from him. Like this is the kind of person. Yeah, this is the kind of person who would literally take the burden of the entire town onto his shoulders if he could. And you can tell that he's kind of trying. Like
he is the actual therapist of this town.
Yes, he is.
Gives a shit.
Actual.
Oh, thank God there's a real one around here.
He gives you an edible and asks you how you're feeling.
Wow.
Honestly, the best treatment you could possibly give someone.
Yeah, like, he's great.
Maybe not healthy because it's dependent on shit, but like it's better than the person who's manipulating you with magic.
Yeah. So you know he's good, but you know he after that insight check, he's legit. The only thing that he might be faking is just how happy he is.
Yeah. That much we got without the insight check, to be fair.
Yeah.
I wanted to do an investigation check, but the big thing is that while she's doing it, she's sitting on the couch.
Okay.
She's not actually prying into any of his personal items.
Okay.
Outside of like the couch, maybe like a pillow to adjust something like that kind of stuff. But it's actual personal items she's not prying into.
Okay. So just looking.
Yes.
Okay.
Math. 16.
Okay. And Jason, are you rolling anything?
I guess, just looking around to see what's there.
Okay. All right.
Like nothing. I'm not looking for anything in particular. It's just this is the first building that we've gone into where we've been, treated to
welcomed.
Yeah, to some kind of like hospitality.
Yeah.
So, just kind of, take a look around and see what kinds of things are in the house.
Okay. All right. So, give me a roll and tell me your number.
Sweet. Wait, what am I rolling?
I think
no smooth brain.
I think that'd be perception.
Wow. Have
no
I got
brain?
news for you? It is an unnatural 19.
Woo!
Nice.
I'm getting my wrinkles back.
My wrinkles back.
I'm getting them back.
Tune in next week to see how many I lose.
Oh God. Cora.
Mm-hmm.
Cora, what was your roll again?
16.
Okay. All right. So 60. So yours.
Math again.
So yours is actually lower. All right. So what you see, Cora, is you look around and you you look around and it feels very homey. It seems that this entire place was put together with the intent of comfort. Like everything about this, the drapes, like the way that they cover the windows, it's like it lets the outside light in, but it almost can help give the illusion that it's sunny out because like the bright colors of the curtains. So you can kind of like trick yourself into thinking it's a nice sunny day outside.
It's like it's those lights that big Hollywood studios use to actually like make it seem like there's sunlight streaming in through. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah.
It's those like panel lights.
Especially because, Amir's deity is the god of the sun. He's probably desperate.
It's weird to not be sunny.
Yeah, it's weird to not have the sun. You see that, there's photos hung up that seems like they don't look to be from here. So you could assume that these are photos that were on their persons when they came.
Wow.
So like very sentimental people would have kept these photos in their packs. You both see Amir standing next to a girl who looks a little shorter than him. Same sandy blonde hair, shaggy. She's wearing a like a kind of a fighter's crop top almost, like, and you can tell that this gal is shredded, and she is holding like this mighty weapon behind her, and you can tell like they are related. And Amir did mention that his sister would have been better in combat. So you see a photo of that. You see in the photo also, like next to it, there's like a photo of, you could assume like Amir and this girl and their parents and their grandma. You see photos of Birin with like her draconic family. You see photos of them together. You see like there's all these little things. You will notice, and I'm going to say that this is mostly a Magna observation, that
fancy.
there is no ash on the altar. It is as if it is almost like obsessively cleaned.
Gotcha.
There is no ash to be seen anywhere by any of the incenses. And the way that they are leaning, you can tell that it is aimed for them to go, like for the ash to primarily fall into little containers. And it just seems like there is a lot of effort putting into quick disposal of ash. And you see, I'm trying to think of what else you would see. That would probably be it for the most part. I mean, you're not going rummaging.
Yeah.
And it just seems to be a very homey, like the strangest thing would just be that even though there's incense and candles and all this stuff all over, and there's an altar that would have stored all this stuff, there's no ash.
Is there, in that train of thought, is there any smoke?
There is smoke.
Like smoke marks from like candles, stuff like that?
Yes.
Okay.
But just no ash. Again, it is like
Interesting.
it is obsessively cleaned. Like there should be ash, and you can see where it's been cleaned up, but ash is not left out.
Even as it's burning, it's not like ash is not spreading.
It seems like it may have been very recently cleaned. So it's in the sense of like it seems like that there's a habit in the household to clean up the ash, and you can see that because there's but the incense is creating ash. Like it is burning as incense would. Yeah. But it's just cleaned up.
Just clarifying. Yeah. It was like, this is a weird place. There might be weird shit with ash.
Oh yeah, no, it's
like the monsters dissolve into smoke when they're killed. I don't know.
No, that's fair. This seems to be more of an Amir and Birin thing. This
makes sense.
So after you guys kind of look and hear around, and you're kind of getting settled in, about that time, Amir comes back in with these three little, and they look to be like hand sculpted mugs, like little cups.
Oh no. Oh no. I love Amir.
And he and like they all have like their tea bags in them, and he's got like a little tray, like a little basket of goods a fuck ton of blackberry tarts.
I love Amir.
And like he kind of walks in with this tray and like puts it down. He's like, all right, and he carefully hands like you each a mug, and like especially with Ivor, like he makes sure that she has a full grasp on it before letting go. And then he kind of puts the tray down. He's like, all right, is there anything else that I can get you all?
I'm quite alright. This is incredibly kind and hospitable. Thank you.
Of course, of course. Well, I shouldn't leave you all alone. So he kind of goes over. He takes off the apron, and like kind of hangs it on a hook that's kind of near the entrance. And he's like, you know, Birin is always telling me to leave the work in the other room. So if I'm going to be here, then I'm not going to worry about that. And he kind of just sits at one of the plush chairs so that he can, see all of you. And he grabs like his own mug, and just kind of settles into the chair. And so I was like, so you mentioned having a handful of questions. I don't know if you asked them all, but I am more than happy to help until the sun goes down. Well, the sun goes down. You know what I mean.
Yes.
Sips on that.
Honestly, a lot of them have been answered.
All right.
So there's been a lot of information that's been given to us over a span of several hours that we have to kind of parse through, at least myself.
Yes.
I don't know about the two of them, though, so they might have questions.
All right. Yes.
I do have a little question.
All right.
What are your thoughts of the others in town?
Oh, well, let me see. There's, well, I am very close friends with the Dwyers, the heads of the guard. They're loud, but they're good. They are very good people. They take their job very seriously, but they also take very seriously what isn't their job. If something is delegated to someone else, they are very adamant about not doing it, and I don't blame them. Especially because Winter also kind of works a little bit like the town hall secretary, sort of. She kind of ended up doing it as a favor, and she hasn't stopped, which is very them. So she still helps out. Good people. Little Lily Rowe Dwyer, that is Walter's daughter. She's a lot, but she's a lot of good things. Beckett, she was a bit intense at first, but she and I have come to greatly respect each other. Her wife, Dirish, works almost in similar ways that I do. We are all about merciful and kind and just treatment, and hers is more involved in giving the swift mercy of a carryover to whatever afterlife, and mine is typically trying to keep people alive. So similar jobs, slightly different departments, I guess you could say. But she's wonderful. And Beckett's little brother, absolute gem. He's very quiet, but he's very sweet. He likes to come and help at the bakery sometimes, so I let him in, and I pay him in goodies, because I don't really have money anymore. I didn't need it, and I kind of lost it somewhere. You don't need it, you don't use it, you put it somewhere. Who else? Thespis is wonderful. I love their shows. It keeps it interesting, especially because I can see right out my window. If I crack it open and open the window, I can hear the music and everything. They keep a good eye out on everyone here. Dimitri, he works at the bar. He's the bartender. I don't know. I mean, you all met him. He's a tough nut to crack, but I think I've kind of softened him up a little bit. He's nice. I feel that he is kind of cold to people because he doesn't like people getting too close. I hazard that it's more of a coping mechanism, so I've never taken it personally. There's also Hitchwire and Mikhail. Mikhail and I haven't talked a lot. We both feel very differently with our clerical work. I do it out of love, and they do it out of fear, which is fine. I'm not one to judge, but it does put quite a damper. We can't exactly talk religion because I talk about Palo and they get freaked out, and I don't like scaring them, so I just don't. Hitchwire, again, tough nut to crack, but I think that he's a good soul under there. Claudius is wonderful, very tall, very long hair. He's especially delightful because he can kind of rein in Richard, Mr. Starr. Is not exactly an easy uh, person to deal with, but over the years, Richard and I have become amicable. I do my best to be amicable with everyone, so I, just tried, but it's worked. Wallace and Larkin, who work at the inn. Larkin's very quiet. I know that Larkin has some abilities that he isn't the best at controlling. He I have been given permission to share this, so I'm not sharing this behind anyone's back. But he has an ability. I guess in some cultures you'd almost call it a siren. He's very alluring to those around him, but he doesn't exactly want to be. So he kind of just hides behind Wallace and keeps his mouth shut, which is understandable. But he's
Okay.
very, very sweet though when he does talk. Wallace, sweetheart. Let me guess. Who else is there to talk about? Obviously, I love my wife. She's, I would say the sun in my sky, but that's a bit, I don't know, I feel like that's a bit cheesy, all things considered.
I feel like Palo is your sun in the sky.
Well, yes, well, I guess I have two. But, no. So, I guess I don't, you can kind of see him like, he knows there's more people.
Mm-hmm.
He knows there's more people.
Okay.
I'm not quite, who else is there? Who else is there in town to even report on? I don't know. Just sips on his tea. Kind of.
Is there anyone in particular he seems really not wanting to talk about?
Well, he hasn't brought up.
He hasn't brought up the mayor's wife, and
Okay.
the therapist.
Okay.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Okay, that's the information I was looking for.
So, a majority of people do not agree with nor like or are scared of the mayor, the wife, and the
And
therapist.
the therapist.
Yeah,
Which we've seen, they're kind of hand in hand, so...
You've
Yeah.
gotten some people mention, like, they work for them, like, the Dwyers obviously work for them as the guard.
Yeah, because they're the mayor family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They kind of have to.
And Gideon did mention a handful of people were his patients.
Yeah, he specifically mentioned Meredith was.
Yep.
I forget who else.
Meredith, Wallace,
He said.
and Amir,
Yes.
actually.
Yeah.
He mentioned Amir.
Okay.
Yep.
Hmm.
So if you would like to ask, you may. He just seems to not want to broach it, but as he said, he is an open book and has been happy to answer anything else. So that is up to you.
Personally, I don't think I'm gonna ask any more questions.
Okay.
Just because I was curious just to see who he would go to first. So kind of like a mental tier of where people kind of fall in like this person is this to me or that
Yeah.
this to me.
Yeah, the people that are important to him first. are the people
Technically
he's gonna
go
talk
first.
about first.
Exactly. So it's like kind of going down that list to see who's where and who doesn't show up on that list at all.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of people you want to,
Yeah.
So,
Which we were already kind of aware of, so that's good to know that
Yeah.
even he is like, because he
Yeah.
has such a hand, especially in the town,
Mhm.
where he is well respected, well known, and well liked. That
Yeah.
him saying, like, not saying them is like, oh,
Yeah. What were you going to say,
sketchy
Jenny?
there, bud.
Jenny, what were you going to say?
so we met Dr. Anderson earlier today. He has quite the temper on him, doesn't he?
Well, I wouldn't have known about a temper necessarily. But
Insight check.
okay.
Yeah.
Roll,
I don't like that.
roll insight. Roll insight,
Boom.
baby.
That's a 9, motherfucker. That ain't shit.
Oh no.
Insight is not high for me. It's a
18.
plus 0, so what I...
Oh, would you get 18?
19.
19. Oh god.
With the luck stone. I technically
I
got
want to know if
18, but I
that
got
bitch
a
is lying
good
about
luck.
knowing that. I want to know.
Okay. So Cora, all you know is, oh, he got a little uncomfortable. Okay.
Yeah.
Suspicious.
Well, she's been uncomfortable, so it's whatever.
Yeah. But Ivor, you can tell that, like, just the way that his energy changed and his tone changed and everything changed that you can perceive about him, there is a hint of lack of full truth. He isn't outright lying, but it's more... he's dodging it without dodging it. Like, he's giving an answer, but it's not... it's like, temper. I never would have expected a temper. I mean, I guess he's not really open about his feelings, and he's a therapist, of course, and I don't know exactly where it is that he got his training or anything, so I'm not sure what kind of methods exactly he uses to cope and deal. I'm not necessarily sure if they are exactly approved or mandated, but that's neither here nor there. It's fine. I don't know where he came from. He seems interesting.
Well, I will say, considering you are one of the first people that I can put some sort of trust into, is that I do not like him at all. And in being entirely honest, as you said, you are an open book. You don't happen to think that the mayor's wife might have a hand in him controlling himself? You did say that you were an open book, after all.
Right.
Just nail that fucking thing in.
Yeah, right.
But you have to understand that sometimes it's not my book to share. Right, well, you didn't hear this from me, but... okay, so it's sort of a town rumor that I have heard, but it's not been confirmed nor denied. Either way, it's a rumor that there may be some sort of, what would you call it, an affair? An affair? Who said that? No, it's nothing. Oh, I just need some more tea. I need to go check on the bread. And he just gets up and you like...
He's like, no! No, my problem!
Oh, the bread, I think it's burning.
The bread? It's like you didn't even put it in the oven. It's burning!
I have to flip it. It's in that really, like, important stage of, like, you gotta flip it and fold it. Not at all, like, on a time limit at all to do that, but he's like, I gotta, it's important.
Now! And he scurries out.
Right now! It's only been resting for, like, maybe 20 minutes, so it's not enough time at all, but, like, I gotta do it now.
He mentioned getting more tea, but he put his mug down and walked away. You see there's still plenty in it. Like...
Oh.
I will say, circling back to the conversation of you want us to sit alone with our thoughts, nah, I'm gonna go make bread, that was me.
Yeah.
That was literally me. I learned to make bread.
Yeah. So Amir goes into the kitchen. You hear some things being rustled with. And then he comes back. And he is just, like, it is almost, it looks more like he, like, went and splashed some water in his face. And he's kind of just like, all right, sorry, I just need to check on the bread. I just need to, all right, my tea, still warm? Okay, all right.
Want to make sure that the bread's okay.
Yes, and it's fine. It's glad you asked.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. And he's like staring at his cup of tea.
Don't talk to me, don't talk to me, don't talk to me, don't talk to me.
Just staring at his mug. Just, so, well, how are you all getting along with everyone in town?
For the most part, well.
All right, for the most
Pretty okay,
part.
I guess. Pretty okay, maybe.
Okay.
For the most part, well.
Is there
I
any?
think it's honestly just getting to know people, knowing the limits and the reservations that we have to take with each individual person.
Yes, yes. Well, I will say, and I'm sure, especially if you've made your rounds, that you've probably heard this. There are certain people here that take a little bit of time to open up. Um,
Thespis told us, yeah.
yes, Thespis. Thespis makes sure to get to know everyone in town that they can. They've kind of donned themselves as the welcoming committee, the one person welcoming committee. So I'm glad that you've been able to talk with them.
Yeah. I do have a question. I just realized you might be one of the better people to talk to, maybe some of the guardsmen. On a normal day when you don't have new guests, as you called us several times, where would Meredith be frequently, the mayor's wife?
Meredith, well, I don't know. I don't try to pry. I try to not get too in her business. But if I had.
We want to do the same thing. We want to stay, out of her way, make sure she's able to do what she needs to do. We just need to know where she frequents.
Oh,
Is it the town hall? Is it the tavern?
well, she typically really only goes. She does make morning routes around town to visit certain places. She goes to the tavern every morning to say hello to Wallace. She's kind of taken Wallace under her wing. Apparently, Wallace
No.
lost his mother not too long before coming in, and she's kind of stepped up and taken the maternal role with him. So she stops every morning. Um, and she also goes and she stops by, for whatever reason, I don't know what it might be, just stops by Dr. Anderson's office, maybe appointments, I don't know, something.
I
And
would assume so.
assume, yes, of course. Um, she goes to the library pretty often, which is odd because I don't think Dalavash likes her that much, but they are amicable. Dalavash doesn't take it from anybody. Um, she has yelled at Roger once or twice. Surprised she's still here. But she takes no flack from anyone. But yeah, so she goes and she does spend most of her time in town hall. Granted, that's where her and Roger live. So most of the businesses you see are also homes. Dr. Anderson.
I figured we've kind of seen inside of most of them,
Yes.
so it makes sense.
Yes. There are some homes on the edge of town. They are as safe as any other building. I will warn you, when it comes to the creatures, if nothing else, because you kind of get a little bit inside of one of their mouths, and it puts things into perspective.
Yeah.
Don't dilly-dally when going home. Being in a fight when you're not expecting it is never good. But when it's against whatever these things are... Have you ever had something or someone stare into your soul and read you naked like a book and then use that? It's all of that in a blink of an eye. And then your mortality hits. There are a lot of things and a lot of people in town who make it their business to know everyone else's business by any means necessary. And
At the taste of that, I think.
The monsters are no exception. It's been rumored that they're looking for someone in particular. It's not anyone on the guard, because the guards have never realized any of them being attacked more so than the others. we joked at one point that they thought it was me, because every time I go out to that, but we've chalked it up to they do realize that I am the healer. So, they say when you see a healer, you take them out first. So, but they're still looking for someone.
Typically is the plan, yeah.
Yeah. So, primary advice. Don't dilly-dally. And stay where it's safe. And don't feel that you need to fight. We have fighters. And we have backup fighters. We have people who don't normally fight, but if the going gets tough, they can fight. We have plenty of people. But know that if you do end up in a fight, there are more people that have your back than not. Even though you just got here, you'll be in good hands. For the most part.
Luckily, I'm never without a weapon.
Smart.
So,
Smart.
if it gets tough. And I will say, none of you see a weapon on her.
Yeah.
She has a weapon. It's in her pack. But none of you see a weapon on her. Not immediately readily accessible.
I don't think Amir would point that out, mostly because Amir's dealt with people like Richard.
But I was mostly saying it for viewers and also the rest of you. She doesn't look like she has weapons on her, and she's not an arcane caster or any kind of caster. She has no focus with her. None of it. Doesn't look like she has any weapons.
Which can do you some good in a town like this, mayhaps. So after Amir kind of parts of that advice and just kind of pulls back into himself, it's like, with that said, it may actually not be a bad time for you to start heading home. It might start to get dark soon, and you want to make sure you have plenty of time to get settled into your lodging before dark. Please feel free to take any baked goods that you would like. And if you would like for me to find a way for you to be able to take these teas with you, if you haven't finished them, I can get them into... I would let you take the mugs, but I don't really like them going outside, so...
It's understandable.
Right.
I'm perfectly fine.
What are your mugs?
Nearly finished with mine.
All right.
I want to lose them.
Right. Well, when you all are done with your tea, and when you all are done, I will be more than happy. I could walk you home, if you would like. I kind of have things, for the most part, ready to go. I checked on the bread, and the bread's fine. It'll be fine for a bit. So, I will be
Can't wait to see the outcome for that.
Well, perhaps tomorrow I'll swing by and drop off some.
That'd be wonderful, thank you.
Excellent.
Lovely.
So when everyone finishes their tea and everyone finishes their food, he gathers all the dirty cups. He thanks you all, and he takes the dirty cups and all the dirty plates and the trays and everything and takes them in. He puts some like the leftover tarts that were in the little basket into like a little cloth bag and kind of like ties it and brings it in and kind of hands you all a bag similar to the one that Thespis had earlier. So you gather that maybe Thespis had one of these bags of little parcels and treats. And Amir like kind of hands you all the bag. It's like, if you would like, I would love to walk you all back.
That'd be nice.
Excellent. All right. Well, allow me to clean up, and then I'll come with you. And so...
Of course, yeah.
He goes, he kind of gets himself, and when he comes back, he's wearing a very, like, homely cardigan, almost. And
hey.
Yeah, similar to that. He's wearing, like, a nice cardigan, and he's kind of put, like, a little hat on it, like a hat to kind of keep his hair out of his face a bit more. And it's like, all right.
It's like a newsboy cap?
Yes.
Oh. Amazing.
So, all right, are we ready to go? And he gestures for you, and he holds the front door open for you, and so head out.
Walk on.
And when Ivor steps out the door, Ivor, your body went through a fuck ton before you died. Everyone went through some shit, and you haven't been able to see, but Amir would have been kind of keeping an eye on Ivor. And Ivor, as you go to walk out, Amir very, very gently places a hand kind of like on your shoulder. Not like your back, not like wrap around you, just like a very gentle touch. And you feel the tension in your muscles that have just been kind of clenched since you woke up start to loosen. And it feels almost like a healing spell, but there isn't really anything for your body to heal. It has, for the most part, healed. What it's doing is it's kind of just loosening that tension in your shoulders and like the knots in your back. And Amir just, it's going to be okay.
Probably, honestly, the moment that happens, she stumbles a little bit
Oh,
because that tension
yeah.
just disappeared and the exhaustion just hit.
And Amir's like, oh, no, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to do. And
No. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I just thought you might like looser muscle tension. Sorry, I should have asked.
No, I appreciate it. It is very kind of you. I just haven't seen a bed in a long time, and I could really use one right now.
Well, let's get you all back to the inn. We'll get your room set up. And so he leads you all to the inn, and holds the door open for you, lets you all in, and you see Richard is now inside with Claudius, and they're kind of sitting in a back corner table. You see that they're kind of like leaning near each other and like talking, and they seem to kind of be talking about like other people in the tavern, but they're just like watching.
Shit talking.
Yeah. They're just like kind of they're like sipping on like probably looks like wine or something akin to that, and they're just kind of like watching everyone and just kind of talking and kind of like chuckling to themselves. And Richard still has the same cocky but like loose body language, but like the smile he's giving when talking to Claudius is a lot more sincere than the grin that he had. Yeah.
It's the one person that he's honest around.
I love that fucking trope.
So you can easily tell that this is like Richard's person. And you also see that Walter and Winter seem to be in there eating before probably going out on patrol. You see Beckett and Dirish also seated at like a table, also probably eating before going on route. And you see Dimitri is no longer cleaning cups. I know. He's no longer cleaning cups.
What's he cleaning now?
Dimitri is actually leaning against kind of like the back of the bar. So like he's still facing the bar, but like he's not near the bar. He's more close to the wall. And he's got a book, but you see that he's kind of like trailing his fingers over the pages. And he seems to be reading. As he's just kind of standing behind the bar. And no one really seems to be bothering Dimitri. They're just kind of
like...
No
one fucks with him.
Yeah, he is reading. This is his reading time.
Don't fuck with Dimitri. Don't fuck with him.
Like, listen.
Especially when he's reading.
Yeah.
He might be on shift. He might be expected to do his job. But everyone knows he is not doing his job currently. He is fucking reading, and if you ask for something, it's a bad time.
Yeah.
He might be on shift, but that's not his problem.
No, it's really not.
Oh, I'm sorry. You want a drink? You should have asked me 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, right.
That's your fault, honestly.
Excuse me, can I get a whiskey? Can you open a bottle?
Bless. I'm here for this.
I love Dimitri so much. This is so you all get
it's his time.
Yes, this is his him time. You all like as Amir enters the bar with you guys, enters the tavern with you guys, he's just like, oh, 1 second, and he like you see Amir waving to literally everyone. It's like, oh, hello, Richard, Claudius, hello, Walter, hi, Winter. Oh, and everyone, even like Richard and Claudius, seem to be quite pleased to see Amir. Like it seems that like everyone seems to be quite like
well liked.
Yes, he is very popular. You even like when Amir kind of calls out to Dimitri, unlike this morning where Dimitri seemed to be in a haze of just like drying the cups and then cleaning another cup and just kind of like groggily whatever. Like as soon as Amir calls out, like, you know, hello Dimitri, like you see him kind of stop and like his interest is more piqued than you have seen the entire time that you've been near him and watched him be weird. He actually, like, you see like a little smile crack on his face.
Oh.
Hi, Amir. It's like, oh, I got an actual response this time. Hello, this is my lucky day. And like Amir kind of goes over to the bar.
Spicy.
And like you see, like Dimitri actually like shut his book and like put it down and kind of like lean against the bar and like starts talking to Amir.
Amir's the only one that can interrupt his time.
Oh my god. We have the power now.
We know the secret to Dimitri.
Hey, Amir, I know that we walked all the way from the tavern to your bakery to ask you this, but could you ask Dimitri to do this thing for you?
Yeah, right.
Because, like, I'm a little scared.
So, and after that, you know, Wallace comes out and he still has like the red handkerchief around his neck, like the sling, you know, it's all like he's still in the same outfit that he was this morning. It's like, oh, just in time. I was really hoping you guys would come back soon. One, it's getting kind of late. Two, your rooms are all ready for you, actually. If you would like to come with me, and we can always bring you food. We can always, if you would rather eat in your rooms, if you don't want to like eat down here. I know there's a lot of people pouring in, especially because the guard's about to go out. And like he says that, and you hear the door open again, and you see Birin coming in full fucking paladin plate armor, like
amazing,
massive dread scaled dragonborn. It just walks in with like a full axe and just a fucking suit of armor. And like you see Amir turn around and like you see his face go a little red. It's like, oh hi dear, hello, you look lovely. And like he gets a little flustered. But so with that, it's like, oh yeah, all right. So the guard are all gonna fuel up before going out. So let's get you guys to your rooms. If you could just come with me, they're just right down the hall.
Really quick.
Yeah.
Ivor would reach out to hopefully grab onto Cora and Magna, specifically because she'd want to just kind of like make sure that she's close enough. Just, this might seem like a weird question, for the moment, but I kind of went through something that was a little bit intense, and suddenly I'm here, and I'm not positive that I'm going to wake up here tomorrow. So, would it be alright if maybe we shared a room just for the first night?
It's fine, as long as Nina is okay with it.
Sure. No worries.
Okay. I'm probably, once we learn where the rooms are, I'm probably going to come back down and get to just talk more, learn more about people, but we can certainly share the room.
Okay. Just, it's a little scary.
I would agree.
Alright, so it doesn't seem that like Wallace heard what you guys were talking about. He didn't seem to try and pry. He has simply just kind of waited by the hallway for you guys to like follow him. So you guys are all, your rooms are all going to be right next to each other. If you all decide to share a house, it would be ideal for you all to let us know if you all decide to share a house or just have separate houses, because we don't have exactly a lot of tools or manpower to build houses that aren't needed. If you guys want to stay here, though, I don't mind. We obviously don't get a lot of foot traffic, so I don't mind if you guys decide to stay here. Some people want a house they don't like having to deal with, and he kind of gestures to the crowd in the tavern. So that'll be up to you guys, but you don't need to tell me now. Let's get you all some rest first. So, yeah. Okay. And he kind of like turns a little on his heel and starts to walk.
I guess we'll follow.
I follow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you all follow. He leads you to, there's like 2 rooms, and then across the hall there's 1 room. So it's like these kind of 3 rooms. And he's like, all right, they're all basically identical. So you can take your pick. If you need anything changed, if you need anything, just please let me know. Myself or Larkin. I would actually suggest me, but you can talk to him if you'd prefer. Just let us know, and we actually live upstairs. So if you need anything, you just go up the stairs and knock on the first door you see, and that'll be our room. So,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
of course. And
It's really nice. Thank you.
and he kind of nods and like awkwardly kind of like adjusts his handkerchief and like walks back out.
So what do the rooms contain?
Each room is like a very standard, like there's a bed, there's a nightstand with a lamp. It seems to be like oil lamp, and none of them are lit because there's still a little light coming in from outside.
Yeah.
There's like a mirror that you can use to kind of clean yourself up. There's a bookshelf that doesn't. It's like a really small bookshelf, and it seems to be more there for you to use to put your things on. There isn't anything really on it, except on top there is like a little vase with like flowers. They look enchanted. Like they don't look quite real. Like maybe they were picked and then magic was used to preserve them, but something like they don't look quite real. Pretty though, but no smell. So purely for aesthetic decoration. And that's about it. Each room has like a different rug. They all look to be kind of hand stitched, but nothing fancy.
And the beds, they're just like single beds.
Yeah.
Standard.
Yeah.
Stuff.
If you like, they're kind of big. Like you all could feasibly fit in one. It wouldn't be. You'd have to get comfortable with each other real quick. But there is also in the one that the one on the other side. So like there's two rooms next to each other and there's the one room on the side. That room does seem to have like by a window, and it's a bigger window than the other ones because it's faced more in town, while the other one kind of faces out of town. The one that's faced more into town has like a bigger window, and there's like a love seat next to it, next to the window, meant for like a reading nook or something, that a person could feasibly also like curl up in and sleep in. Yeah. So.
Yeah. How heavy would you say the beds are?
You'd be able to move one. It wouldn't be easy, but I mean, I'd say that you could.
Also, Coraton is completely fine with sleeping on the floor with like a pillow and a blanket. She's been on a boat for fucking months at the point before this moment. She's fine anywhere.
Yeah.
She prefers beds, but she's fine anywhere.
Without even skipping a beat, Magna's gonna go into one of the rooms and start to
drag,
to pick up the bed and try and carry it out the door.
We're not putting it into the other room. We're just stealing the bed.
No, we're not.
That's it.
We're not stealing the bed. We're not stealing the bed. No, I'm putting it in the room that has the window.
All the bar people.
I'm putting it into the room that has the window facing town.
Okay, the one to love seat. All right, roll strength.
Oh well, shit.
Make sure you don't drag it along the floor.
How many
the floor.
brain cells am I gonna fucking lose? Oh, well, hello.
Oh.
Well, hello.
Could I actually...
Is brain smooth again?
Could I...
Well, I mean, this is strength, so...
Hold on. Can I actually, since it's the end of the day, can I use my other portent to make that a 19?
Oh. You rolled a 19 fucking natural 20?
Yeah.
Wait. What is this for? What are you rolling for?
The fucking divine wizard portent shit.
I'm a divination wizard, so the lore behind it is I have visions at the beginning of the day, so I know how to change things in order to work in my favor. So it's probably a matter of she walks out as he's about to like crash it through a wall or something, and it's just like,
Well, I mean, you don't have to worry because it was an unnatural 20.
Oh shit!
You rolled a natural 20 and a 19.
I did really.
Okay, Taliesin Jaffe, sit down. Sit the fuck down, Taliesin Jaffe. Jesus.
Hold on a minute.
Usually I like my portents to be lower because I like to say, hey, fuck you, villains. But
like, those are good for us.
Yeah.
They don't fuck other people, they help us.
Yes.
Keep rolling like that, please.
Yes, keep it up.
See, now you just jinxed it. You gotta...
Knock
I'm not
on
gonna
wood.
knock on wood because of this
Just
shit.
watch on Saturday game. I'm gonna be rolling like shit.
Oh no, Saturday and Sunday you're fucked.
Just come back on Monday and do this.
Yeah.
Do it well.
So,
Roll well.
so you end up getting the bed through. Like as you're moving it, you
Melissa said, what the fuck?
you kind of look down the hall, and you see Dimitri. He's like,
Oh, fucking Dimitri again!
He's looking.
Shit!
He's like looking,
Shit.
but like
You're stealing the bed
he's
for all intents and purposes.
It's just like a...
he's looking down the hall. Except once again, he's kind of just like looking through you guys. It's like
Pointing his ear.
and Dimitri's just, I don't see anything, and just went back behind the bar.
I love Dimitri.
Dimitri is so good.
He is not paid enough to care. His excuse, I
He's not
didn't.
paid anything.
his-
Money doesn't matter here.
Yeah, he's
What is
like,
this?
yeah, his excuse for everything is, I didn't see anything, and everyone's like, you never do, Dimitri. This is not an excuse
God.
anymore. So Dimitri kind of just like it kind of goes back. And after that, like, I don't see anything. You do see Walter kind of look up. Nice! And then goes back to eating. He just kind of doesn't give a fuck.
Stop looking at me.
Like, attention was brought to you because of Dimitri. And then Walter was like,
Fucking Dimitri.
yeah. Walter, who had been
Please
up by the
stop
bar
perceiving me.
eating, noticed, but also, like, it doesn't seem like you're doing anything shady, and it's also not Walter's job to make sure you're not, so he's just gonna, whatever.
Not his problem. Quite literally not his problem.
Big man holding big bed. That's just normal around here.
I mean, Walter probably doesn't
I
mind. Walter probably doesn't mind seeing a big man carrying a big bed. I mean,
Oh, well.
he's a bottom. So anyway.
Getting late, guys.
It
Yeah,
is
holy
almost
shit.
2 a.m. Okay, listen. So
Well, the bed goes in the room, god damn
the
it.
bed goes in the room.
Yeah, Jenny.
The moment that Ivor, like, even just sits on the bed, she's just out.
She's
Oh.
gone.
So fucking exhausted.
She's so tired.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't
Oh.
even make it all the way onto the bed. Like, her legs are still kind of over the side. She's not covered in anything.
Oh,
She just fucking passes the fuck out.
You could bet once that second bed is placed, Magna's gonna help just put her right back on bed properly. And just like, have a blanket, have a fluff
Rest,
pillow.
my child.
Yes.
Please
Rest,
sleep
my child.
comfortably. Like,
So, for the sake of time, because we are playing an hour and a half later than I expected.
Oops.
I mean, I
Yeah, a lot of questions.
yeah, I don't mind. And I think this is a really good, effective, like, first section.
Cora is going back down, and until everyone kind of clears out, is just drinking, because she's 100% in the mindset of, like, you don't know a person until they're not paying attention.
Yeah.
So she's going and just downstairs drinking, talking, but also watching
Okay.
to see kind of what to expect. We can resolve that next week.
Okay. Well,
That's fine.
I am going to resolve it quick because there is a thing that I wanted to get to.
Cool.
oh, I was
So-
also gonna say that if you're going back down, Magna's gonna sit in the chair
Mhm.
to make sure that, you know, Ivor can like sleep properly.
Yeah.
So just kind of like he's kind of in that like half awake, half asleep state where he's just like sitting, looking out the window, just in case anything happens.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, you head downstairs. You see for a little while, like, Amir and Birin are sitting at a table. Well, actually, no, Amir and Birin would have moved and sat up by the counter. You can tell by the way that... I'm just going to give this to you, because this is all
Sure.
flavor text.
She's also watching over a course of probably like
Hours.
30 minutes to an
Yeah.
hour to
Yeah.
2 hours. So
You can tell that the way that Dimitri is, like, leaning into the conversation with Amir and Birin, and the way that, like, Amir is with Dimitri, and the way that Birin is with Dimitri as well, there might be, like, a thing going on there.
there's something happening with all three of them.
The three of them. And if nothing else, you seem to catch on to it more than Amir does. Um, um,
Amir's clueless.
yeah, he's clueless and delightful. So, you know, Dimitri's chatting with Amir and Birin. Beckett and Darish were kind of seated together and were talking. And at one point, Dalavash kind of poked her head in and seemed to inform both the Dwyers and Beckett and Birin that she had taken the children home. And the children were at their respective homes. And that, you know, it's like, okay, good. And there seems to like be more talking. Beckett and Darish kind of finished their food, packed up, and left before anyone else did. Seemingly to perhaps go check on the little brother. You see Richard and Claudius still sitting in the corner, still just chatting, talking shit.
Chatty Cathy's in the corner.
Yeah, and you see at some point Richard kind of like is idly playing with Claudius's very long hair. Like, I mean, it goes down like the small of his back, right? And Richard kind of idly playing with the hair, and like they're giving each other looks, but they seem to be like intentionally very dramatic, as if they're kind of teasing each other. Like,
you know, they're fucking when they go home tonight.
Yeah.
This Richard, goddamn.
This is what we call QPP with benefits. Richard's, you know, after
Always
that whole
Richard.
thing. Huh?
It's always Richard.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
always Richard,
always
the
Richard.
asshole that is like a flirty fucking bitch.
Yeah. Richard and Claudius eventually kind of packed up. When Richard and Claudius are packing up to leave, Richard kind of goes by and like kind of gives the Dwyers a goodbye. You can see that they're very amicable. You can tell by the way that Richard's hand kind of like drags against Walter's shoulder that, oh, Richard might be like into that. But Walter seems to be like, whatever. Like, he's not upset.
Whatever.
He's not upset. He's just like,
It's not a thing.
Not my type. Richard will be forever sad Walter's a bottom. So Richard and Claudius both then make their leave. You can tell that they seem to walk together, so maybe they decided on the whole sharing a house thing.
We know what's happening in that household when they get back.
And then soon after all that, the Dwyers would have had like kind of short conversation with both Walter and Winter. Very amicable, very much like they seemed to very quickly welcome you into their fold. They are the kind of people who will make you feel like you've been in their social circles for 10 years. Like you feel very welcome at
Best kind of people.
Yeah. Very Southern hospitality. It just radiates off of them. So eventually you hear the bell toll, and it is this gong of a bell. And at that, you see, like, Walter and Winter, Walter and Winter, as well as Amir and Biren, the people that you know are kind of interacting with the guard that are still there. All of them kind of straighten up. The way that Walter and Winter straighten up, though, like, you hear that bell, and that's almost like 9 to 5 bell rings, you start your shift, right?
Yeah.
You see the Dwyers go, and you're talking with them, and they're very jovial. Laughter, very big bellowing laughs, full of personality. They take up a whole room, but they aren't even that big of people. But you see them stiffen, and it's almost like they've gone into a different mode, and it's almost like guard dogs, and they just get cold. They get stern. And Walter kind of just like pushes his now empty plate ahead of him. It's like, well, I'm sure you can hear that, but it is now time for us to make our leave. So you go rest up, get some sleep. And he kind of pat Winters on the shoulder, and they get up and they walk. And before then, they were walking kind of fluidly. They were kind of all over the place, big confident steps. But now they are walking near militaristically. Their feet are in sync. They step in sync. Yes?
It's on self. Never mind. I was gonna do a thing, but it's on self.
Okay. They walk more like machines now as they walk out that door. They have gone out onto the clock. Amir and Biren kind of sit there for a moment, and you see Biren kind of like picking up her axe, and it's like, all right, and she kind of like presses a kiss with her massive fucking head on the top of Amir's head. And Amir just, let's go home and let me get my things. I don't want you going out alone. And Birin, who's wearing a full fucking plate of armor and has a battle axe over her shoulder.
She's like, bitch.
But you see Birin just, it's all right. Let's go get your things. And she waves to Dimitri, and Dimitri kind of like you kind of see Dimitri stay safe out there. And Amir just, we will. And he, packs up all of his things and they walk out. And Dimitri, it is now just you and Dimitri standing in the tavern. Everyone else has gone home or they've gone out to fight if the fight needs to happen. And Dimitri kind of turns his head a little towards you. Again, he's not looking at you, but he's like acknowledging you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you had an interesting run-in this morning, didn't you? With head of the town. Well, the missus, right?
Whatever gave you that thought?
Well, you know what they say. Walls have ears, but waitstaff take notes. I
know that intimately, so yes.
No, I had a talk with Thespis earlier. Yeah. Don't trust her.
Don't trust Thespis?
Oh, no. No, trust Thespis.
Don't trust Meredith?
Yes, Meredith.
I don't.
Good.
So that's not something I need to worry about.
I have told people that a little too late before. I don't want to make the mistake again.
I do have a question.
Of course.
How long has her husband been the mayor here?
Since anyone can remember.
And no elections, no pushback, no one trying to become the mayor.
Well, yes. Mikhail did try and hold an election, had this whole thing on how it's not true democracy if there's no election. No one can just claim to be a mayor and not have to go through elections.
I would agree.
Well, yeah. So Mikhail, but I don't think I need to explain why Mikhail wasn't the best mayoral candidate.
No.
They tried. Failed. And there's enough people in town that are comfortable enough. And I don't think they realize that they've been put into complacency.
I would agree.
There are people here who know better. There are people here who learned the hard way. And there are people who don't yet know. There are people who will never learn. And I want to make sure that you all don't end up in that boat. I know that Thespis, as I guess the simplest way to put it would be, got to you first. Sorry, that sounds a little predatory, but...
No, they did. They admitted themselves.
That is intentional.
What did Thespis do?
Basically, it was a block. They are one of the most powerful bards I have ever met. They are great with people. They are great with minds. They are great with things like inspiring and restoring faith and hope. But one thing they cannot stand is abuse of power. In their defense, what is theater but social commentary? What is art but revolution? And they stand by that. And they are able to sort of block whatever hold it is that Margaret's able to put on. And there's something that she does. And I don't know if it has ties to her and Roger being married, or if it has ties with her position or whatever she may be. But Thespis has something powerful enough to block it, basically. Think of it this way. Someone tries to put a rope around you, but you're wearing a material that makes it slide off. That's kind of what Thespis can do.
I understand what you mean. I deal somewhat in mental abilities, so I think I understand what you mean.
It makes it very, very hard for her to get into someone's head if Thespis gets there first. I'm not the only one that they got to first. Neither are you. Mikhail, oddly enough. Mikhail's on our side. Joy.
Good to know.
It is. It is. But that's about it.
You, Mikhail, and Thespis, that's it?
For the most part. Even Amir. Amir knows enough. But Amir can't bring himself to hate anyone.
Yeah. We spoke with him briefly before we came back to the bar. We got that idea from him.
Gideon got in his head enough before Amir stopped seeing him. Got in his head enough. And Amir is no longer complicit in the sense of trust. Amir is now complicit in the sense of fear. And
I was going to ask that, actually.
yeah.
You said he stopped seeing Dr. Anderson.
Yes.
When we were talking with him, it seemed like he still was seeing him. He talked to him as in present tense.
Who, Amir or Dr. Anderson?
Amir. Amir. And Dr. Anderson.
Well, if nothing else, Amir hasn't gone to a session in months. And I think Amir is telling himself that he's going to go back. And I think Dr. Anderson is just waiting for him to come back. But I
Makes sense.
really hope he doesn't.
It seems my group and I made enemies of the two people we shouldn't have in town.
No, I think if you're going to make enemies with anyone, you made enemies with the right people.
Yeah, Dr. Anderson and Meredith aren't exactly friendly towards us anymore.
Well, you're not missing out. It's both fake.
Yeah. As soon as she tried to push a magical effect onto me, I figured.
Yeah, it's not. I am very glad that you powered through with that, because I have seen the light leave people's eyes the moment they shake her hand. And I can't even watch their faces. You can feel it. You can hear someone's bubbly tone, and then they shake her hand, and it's gone. Complicit. It's like a dog rolled on its back.
I'll have to thank Thespis.
Well,
They interrupted before the rest of us could shake hands.
well, thank you for stopping the trail of handshakes for continuing, so I heard.
Yeah. I didn't like the feeling. It was very different than what Thespis had done.
It's not. It's invasive. Thespis is
Incredibly so.
Thespis is a coat, while Meredith is a shot.
Yeah.
And not the good kind either. So, well, you might want to, unless you have any other questions, you might want to head to bed. The sounds of the fighting aren't pleasant.
I do have more questions, but they can wait until the morning.
That's
or
a good
later.
idea. I will be more than happy. Well, I'll sit and talk with you at some point. We can't exactly talk a lot while the patrons are here, but
I do have a way around that.
Oh, don't tell me you're inviting me to your room.
I
Oh my
wasn't.
god.
Good. And he just kind of like leans back. I'd be flattered, but please don't.
I'm not going to interrupt the situation you have with Amir and his wife.
Yeah. Thank you.
Amir's clueless, isn't he?
He is so clueless. Viren's contemplating just telling him.
I think you might have to.
Yeah, I think she's gonna have to.
Anyways, I'll leave you be.
Thank you. It has been loud for hours. I would like some quiet.
I do have one more question.
Yeah.
That book you were reading, what's it about?
It's a book I was given from the library. After I moved here, they had to start making things more accessible. There wasn't exactly Braille here until I moved. But I kind of refused to be the only person making things accessible. And...
Good.
Well, yeah. Thespis was quick to hop on and help out. And through whatever magical means that they and Dalavash have, were able to translate some books into Braille. This is just some fiction book from a world it clearly pulls context clues from whatever universe it's from. I have no idea what's going on, but if I look like I'm reading, people don't talk to me, so I just grabbed it.
No, that's fair. I respect that. I've done that many a times in my life.
See, there you go.
Anyways, I'll let you get back to your book.
Thank you. Have a good night. Definitely try and pass out soon. The sounds of the fighting in town aren't always pleasant if you're up too late to hear them.
Trust me, you don't have to tell me twice. I am exhausted.
Good. Well, not...
It's lovely speaking with you.
Good night. Good night.
Good night. She'll go back upstairs.
Yeah. As you all pass out for sleep, I'm assuming, so Ivor is out.
Oh yeah,
Ivor's gone!
Oh, she's been out.
Yeah. So Cora is gonna fall asleep rather quickly. What about you, Magna? Are you gonna...
Well, honestly, I think you'd probably wait until the other two were asleep to fall asleep.
Okay.
Just as like he might not be like loud about, oh, I'm still awake, like I'll be here if you need me, but more like
he's gonna be there.
Yeah, he's gonna be there anyway, but he's just kind of not completely asleep.
Closed, but like...
Yeah, he just rests his eyes. He doesn't actually knock out too easily.
All right, I want you, before we start to wrap up, I want you to roll me a perception check.
Gotcha.
As both Cora and Ivor are asleep.
Okay.
Oh my god, I have so many names. Where's
I can send you a list if you need it later.
Please.
Oh, that would be really good. That was a 12.
That was 12? Okay, well that was just high enough.
Ooh.
It was not...
Pants.
Yeah. So you're sitting by the window. You are like making sure that everyone else is asleep. You're keeping an eye on them. You look out the window. And from looking out into town, you can kind of see... It's gotten dark now. It is definitely dark. Especially if Cora had been spending a few hours downstairs. Like, it's definitely... Yeah. It's been some time since it got dark. And it's been...
Yeah, no, she stayed until pretty much the, like, fighters went out.
Yeah.
That was pretty much when she left.
Yeah. And, like, after the talk with Dimitri. So, like, the fighters have kind of been on patrol for a little while during the talk between Cora and Dimitri, and Cora getting settled in. So you're sitting, you look out, and from what you can see the fountain and kind of the other side of town, and it can kind of see out into the emptier part of the town square. And you hear some noises coming from the far distance, and they sound like a collection of bodies gasping for their final breath. It sounds like from the distance you are hearing just labored lungs and strained vocal cords that you can just feel the cracking ribs beneath. Like, you can hear it, and you can hear them every now and then turn into shrill just screeches that echo in the night sky across the fields. And then you hear a loud whistle, like someone, like a loud whistle. And you look out and you see the Dwyers booking it through the middle of town square. And they are moving at a speed that is not human. It is them just pounding themselves across the just lunging themselves into battle. You see,
oh my God.
Their faces are stone cold as they just trudge into the thick of it. You see, coming from sort of like in between two houses, as if they'd been exploring the fields and kind of monitoring, you see Beckett charge through, the gold glint of her weapons and the armor just shining through the lights, and you see a wisp of raven's feathers come together, and Derish just appears, and she's charging next to her wife, and she's, you see her hands are like a black smog just coming off of her arms as she charges into battle. You see Birin with her axe and her armor, just she has placed herself. And even though Amir is wearing the least amount of armor compared to everyone in the group, he is right next to his wife with his staff at the ready. And you see like the top of his staff kind of glowing this yellow hue as he has taken a stance. And the fight begins, and you can't see it very well, but you can hear it. Bones cracking, orders being barked, lots of yelling. You hear the shrill shrieks coming through, but they also sometimes sound gurgled, like this, as if someone is trying to scream while choking on blood. Like these are nasty sounds that you are hearing.
It's the worst.
And you just sit and listen, and then after a while you hear gunshots. Though you probably wouldn't recognize what they are, but you hear loud pop, 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 and you hear another shrill screech, and then it goes quiet. And then you kind of like looking to see, because these are people that you've kind of befriended, at least some of them, like pleasant rapport. You see Amir walking, kind of helping Walter walk, as you see just the side of Walter's body is just bleeding. Like, he has his arm, it's everything, and you can tell that he is trying to shrug Amir off. Like, I got this.
Like, I'm fine.
But like you're seeing like Amir be the sternest you've ever seen, and he is like demanding that Walter take assistance, and it almost looks like Walter can't feel any of this blood, and like you see like the leather has been pierced through and the denim has been pierced through, and Amir is escorting Walter back to the guard house, and at about that point, it's just the streets. You see Winter being kind of consoled a little bit as she's keeping an eye on Walter, but Walter's like waving her off, so she continues her patrol. Beckett and Dirish continue their patrol, and Beckett, Birin sticks by Winter as Amir goes with Walter back to the guardhouse. And that's what you hear and what you see before you conk out for the night. You didn't really get a good view of the monsters. You only heard them and saw what the fuck they did to Walter, and the fact that a handful of the others do look kind of beaten up. None of them are walking away from this with a pep in their step. And with that, you all...
Well, there's one more thing that I want to do before Magna goes to bed.
Yes.
From his pack, he has a small rolled up piece of parchment.
Okay.
And he's going to unroll that, and on it is a list of names. There aren't any last names with these people. They're just first names. And it's a lengthy list, about 20 or so names. And he gets a piece of charcoal or something that he's kind of grabbed and stuffed into his bag. And at the very bottom of the list, he's going to write his own name before rolling up the scroll and putting it back into his bag, and then he goes to sleep.
Ouch. Okay. All right, do that.
That hurts me. I think I know what that's for. That hurts, Jason. Fuck you.
So
all the people that fucking
so
race car noises of mistakes.
Ooh.
So that has been our first section of Welcome Fuck.
Oh, Jesus.
Welcome. My thumb caught my earbuds. That is our first
Rip
session
them out.
of
Jesus.
Welcome to Nexilis. You all have gotten to meet most of the people in town. I think there is only one person you have not met.
Roger.
Roger, the mayor.
Because we didn't go to town hall because we're like,
Fuck you.
Yeah, and so 6 hours. We do.
Yeah.
Jesus,
Also,
yes.
during like part of the talk with Dimitri, we got raided by 11 people.
That was
A party
awesome.
of 11 people. It was awesome.
If any of the people who came via the raid are here, still hello, thank you, and welcome for coming. Sorry.
Also, I thought up questions, so there's all of this. Some of these got answered already, and then this whole chunk here of just
shit.
like, I have questions that aren't important, minus the mayor and election shit. That was important. That's why I brought it up. But I have other questions out that I'm like, why do they have a tavern when, they don't have travelers coming through and leaving? Why do they have a tavern if they don't have money? Why do they have a library? How do they get new books for the library? I have a lot of questions that I want to know the answers to.
These are all very good questions.
Really minor ones, but I want to know the answers.
So, thank you all for tuning in. If you are still here and you missed the beginning and would like to tune in, this will be uploaded onto YouTube into 2 parts. Also, hoping to get this uploaded onto maybe in podcast format, so we'll see. Thank you all so much for coming in, and I hope that you all come back next Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that would be 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Tune in for anywhere from 4 to 6 hours, it seems. So,
Sure.
We wanted to meet everybody. It was
this is
a good RP. Wanted to meet people.
This is probably going to be the longest session, minus maybe the last one, depending on where that one starts.
Fair.
So it seems that we have some more redeems to go through.
I don't have any liquids, I don't think. I'm out of liquids.
I downed my liquids.
I have some soda left, and I think I have some water.
I actually have water.
A little bit of liquid.
A little bit.
Okay.
My liquids are gone.
So, just for the sake of all of the hydrates or dihydrates, let us all finish off our waters or whatever drink we have, if we have
What
it.
if I have like 2 drops left?
Throw it back.
And yep. There we go.
Least satisfying drink of water.
That was very fun.
It was soda that I had in there. There was like 2 drops of like watered down soda. It was weird.
A flat watered down soda.
Oof.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will keep posting updates until next week. We're going to come back, and it'll be the next morning in game for them to figure out what the fuck is going on. Please be sure to check out the hashtag Welcome to Nexilis, where some people did some live tweeting, which is great.
Ashley was doing it, I was really going for it.
It was great, Ashley, the MVP.
Just on it.
And once this is uploaded onto YouTube, it'll either be, I don't know if it'll be my personal or the Jar of Rebuke one. We'll see. So we'll figure that out. Keep an eye on social media for it. Hopefully you all come back next week. But until then, we are all going to sign off, and the 4 of us need to have some power down time. So thank you all so much for coming. Have a great rest of your night, and take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Please exit full screen and stop the